and I forgot that it was still on my head, and my MTI screamed at me in front of my entire family. What is up, guys? It's Michaela and welcome back to another video. I am making this because I got way more comments and questions than I ever expected, and I definitely love responding, but I'm seeing a trend of a lot of the same questions being asked. So I'm gonna make this video to kind of just go over the frequently asked questions, so hopefully this helps you guys out. To be completely honest, the yelling is not that bad. For me, I used to be a person that would cry if someone yelled at me because I'm just a sensitive person, but it's really not that bad. You just have to remember that it is their job, it is not personal, and basic training is built to break you down and build you back up. And they don't just yell directly at you unless you make a mistake or do something wrong, which is inevitable because you're a brand new airman, you're in this foreign environment that you've never been in. So you're going to make mistakes and screw up, and it's not the end of the world. I got smoked, which is another term for getting yelled at, a lot, okay? Like, I got yelled at a lot. I remember the weekend of graduation, I walked up the stairs with my family and had my hat on inside, or flight cap inside, which you're supposed to take it off. And I forgot that it was still on my head, and my MTI screamed at me in front of my entire family. So it's fine, it happens. They're supposed to yell at you. That's literally their job. So don't take it personal. You're gonna get through it. It's only 8.5 weeks. I think it might even be 7.5 weeks because of COVID. So you will be fine, I promise. Basic training is not that bad. So the answer is yes, they do draw your blood and see what vaccines you've already gotten prior to joining the military. So for myself, I was completely updated on all of my vaccines, so I really didn't have to get a lot of shots during basic. However, I did have to get the peanut butter shot, and I'm not gonna lie to anybody, it hurt like hell. They do it in your butt cheek. You're literally walking in a line and like you pull down your shorts because you're in your PT clothes that day because it's easier. And I just remember crying. I only cried a couple of times in basic, but I definitely cried during that. It just really is like a dull pain, kind of like a bruise. It lasted a couple days, but it went away. So don't let it scare you too bad. It's an experience. But if you are allergic to penicillin, you will have to take a pill instead of getting the peanut butter shot. So if you're allergic, you don't have to get it. You do have to get your vaccines in basic. There is no exemptions as far as what you're allowed to get, what you're not allowed to get. The only thing that you can waiver right now is the COVID vaccine. It is not mandatory for military members until it is FDA approved. Any other vaccine, as far as the flu or, the chicken pox, anything like that, you are required to get that. I went to basic August of 2018. So to answer any questions about COVID, I cannot do that because I was not there. I graduated 2 years ago. So I started talking to a recruiter in December of 2016. I then went to MEPS January of 2017 while I was in my senior year of high school. And then I left for basic in August. So that gap was due to a couple things. The main thing was I had to graduate high school, so my times were more specific, and I also really wanted a specific job, which was broadcast journalism, and I had to wait for that to become available as well. So everything ended up working out. I got to enjoy my summer with my friends and family before leaving, so I can't complain about anything. But I went to MEPS in January, left in August. When you go to basic training, you cannot have any piercings in. You can't have your earrings in, you can't have your nipple piercings in, you can't have your belly button piercing, clit piercing, whatever you got, you cannot have that in. When you graduate basic and you go to tech school, you can have all the piercings you want as long as they meet the Air Force, you know, standards. As you can't have a nose piercing, you can't have more than one earring in at a time. I have 3 holes, you know, and I just wear it in my off time. I know people that have their nose pierced and they just wear that in their off time. But while you're in uniform, you can only wear 1 set of earrings. But as far as like nipple piercings and stuff like that, after you're done with basic, no one's gonna know you have them. And I don't even think that is a rule in the AFI because it's pretty personal. So you'll be good on that. Now, this is very subjective because, you know, my experience may be very different than somebody else's. So for me, I did not mind showering with everybody. It didn't bother me. And that's pretty much just because I'm not a very modest person in nature. I'm very comfortable, you know, being naked. And some people aren't, and that's fine. But I'm letting you know that I said this in my other video, and I'll say it again. It's not bad, I promise. Like, nobody's staring at you, nobody cares. It's not bad at all. Like, you don't even get that much time to shower in the first place. So once you're at basic and not just sitting at home having all this time to worry and be anxious about it, you won't even be thinking about it. You're just gonna do it because you're gonna be rushed to shower. Now, there were some specific questions in that. No, you do not have a shower curtain. It's literally an open room with about 26 shower heads, and that's what it's like. Everybody showers. Sometimes you take turns using a shower head because there might not be enough. I know there were ones that were broken in our flight, and you know, there's like 50, 60 girls and you're trying to shower in 26 shower heads. So, you know, you get really close to everybody super fast. So honestly, it's not a big deal at all. And another question on that was, how do you shower when you're on your period? Honestly, I never thought about this, and I have anxiety and it was not something I worried about at all. But to answer this question, it doesn't matter. You know, if you're going to the shower and you don't wear tampons, you know, not everybody does, and there's like blood in the shower, who cares? Everybody's a girl that's there, and you know, mostly everybody's getting their period. So it's really not that big of a deal. I wouldn't overthink it. It's natural, it's normal. So I know it's hard, you know, for me to say, oh, don't worry, you know, don't be anxious, because that's inevitable. You know, the unknown is very scary. But coming from someone who struggles with legitimate anxiety and overthinking, I totally understand, but it's not as bad as you're making it out to be in your head, I promise. So yes, you can wear makeup the weekend of graduation. However, it has to be tasteful. You can't, you know, cake it on and, you know, wear some like super bold, extravagant colors. It has to be, you know, conservative, light makeup, because you will have open ranks, which is basically a procedure in the military where you all stand in a formation and your MTIs are going to be checking your dress and appearance. So at this time, you do this before you are released to go with your family. They will be looking at your makeup to make sure that it is tasteful and within the regulations. So I recommend, you know, just doing a very simple, basic makeup routine. You don't need to go, you know, balls to the wall. For the strength days, there are 3, and if this is wrong, please correct me, because I know that everything's different because of COVID. But when I was in, we did, you know, push-ups, sit-ups, mountain climbers, planking, squat thrusts, which are literally like burpees, and really just calisthenic exercises. You're not using weights. We did pull-ups occasionally, but you didn't actually have to know how to do a pull-up. You were literally just trying your best, because Lord knows I can't do a pull-up, and I was in my prime of fitness, you know, at the time I went to basic. So don't worry about that. And going off of that, I had a couple people ask or say that they couldn't do a push-up. Would they be okay? Yes. If you can't do a push-up, there's 2 things. First, you need to train. The only way you're going to be able to do a push-up is to start doing push-ups. And my advice is just start doing push-ups on your knees. I don't care if you're a boy or a girl, it does not matter. Start doing push-ups on your knees. It will help you do a real push-up very, very quickly. But the only way you're going to get better is by doing it. Because even if you work out your upper body, it will help you get stronger, but doing an actual push-up is the only way to get better at it. And with that, the mile run isn't that bad either, but I do recommend preparing ahead of time. If you can't do a push-up and you can't run and you get there, you will eventually learn. It's just going to be a lot more challenging for you at basic because you are gonna have to keep up. And if you've never trained a day in your life before going, you are at more risk of shin splints and different injuries. So I highly advise preparing. And I didn't say this in the other videos, so I do apologize, but I am saying it now. So before you go to basic, you need to be practicing push-ups, sit-ups, and running. For me, I practice all three of those things. I got my run time down to about a 9-minute mile, which is fine for a girl. The male and female run times are different. And I was also lifting weights and training in that regard. So you just really need to do something. But the main thing is practice your push-ups, sit-ups, and your run. This really is subjective. It depends on your MTIs, how good of a flight you are, and different things like that. So phone calls were an incentive for our flight. So when we did things really well, and we were all, killing it, we got an extra phone call. So our MTIs used that as different incentives for us. So I think we got about 4 or 5 different phone calls. And when we got base celebrity, which I don't know if they're doing because of COVID, it was basically when we got free time to go around base, and I used the payphone at that time to call home then. So I did get to call a little extra, but like I said, I don't know if they're doing base celebrity during COVID because of all the restrictions. I am a public affairs specialist. I was known as a broadcast journalist, and I made a video about that. However, our career field actually merged, so broadcast journalist and photojournalist became public affairs specialist. So that is what I am known as. I absolutely love my job. I recommend checking out my video. If anybody else is interested more in depth about what I do, comment below and I'll possibly make a video if someone wants me to. And I am so grateful for all of you. I am at over 850 subscribers and it's only been a month. This has been an awesome journey so far and I'm really excited to keep creating content. And please feel free to comment below with video suggestions, stuff that you guys would like me to create. It doesn't have to be Air Force, it can literally be anything. Just put your comments below. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.